Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Saturday morning training. We are Robert and Lauren Laird, and we are excited to go through. Oh, we got little Wendy here too. We are excited to go through your business success training. And before we get into it, I think we'll get started by sharing a little bit about what Relive has done for us. And Relive came into our lives about almost 13 years ago now. And what's meeting a couple people. And Relive really came in the way you wouldn't expect it to, and it was because my mom had a massive stroke probably 8 months before Relive was introduced to us, and she had a decent recovery, but it wasn't the best in the world, and we were just happy to have mom's personality around still. But then we got so much more when a lady from our church called her up and said, "Hey, why don't you try this stuff? It might help you." And she did try it. It did help her, and it helped my dad also. And I saw a business opportunity, to be completely honest. I saw if it could help them the way it did, imagine what it could do for everybody else. Because I just figured they were about the worst it could get. And imagine what it'd do for somebody that was healthy. So I jumped in top profit level for the business. And really the products were all about the business. That's the reason to take the products, is because the business works. And little did I know, my first day in the business, I'd make $50 profit out of sheer ignorance. We've been paid every month since then for the last crazy to think, almost 13 years. And it's been a really exciting journey for us. And I think the unexpected excitement for us were the health results. And I'll let Lauren share hers first, and then I'll get into mine.
Well, sure. Hi, everyone. Lauren Laird. And Robert and I were only dating when Relive came into his life. But he got excited and I followed his excitement, and he started handing me these cans, and I went, all right. And I got to hear the stories too, the stories of other people's success and getting to meet people within the Relive family. And the word that I kept hearing was the word prevention. And that made sense to me because my dad had a stroke and Robert's mom had a stroke. So doing what I could do in my 20s, 30s, whatever years, to hopefully avoid the awful things that my parents and grandparents had to deal with just kind of made sense to me. Prevention, just sounded good. So taking Relive consistently, I didn't think that I would notice any difference. But indeed, in fact, I did. I noticed more energy, stronger immune system. When Disneyland is open, that's where I work. And so I work in entertainment, dancing down Main Street and needing a lot of energy and sweating a lot. And just felt like Relive gave me the stability to be able to do my job and do my job well. So super duper thankful. Done Fit 3. Really have just grown to love this fitness lifestyle. Christina and I go on hikes and we do fun things, and we're just always outside together, and it just brings me so much joy to live that lifestyle.
And when I got started in Relive also, I really felt it was a prevention story that I was going to be building as well. But little did I realize that this stuff helps with things you don't even realize you can get help with. And so as about 8 months went by, I remember sitting underneath a flowering tree with my friend Allison and realizing my allergies weren't going crazy, which has been a fantastic thing because we like to garden, have a train through the garden. And so there's lots of things that could set those off. And I wouldn't be able to breathe the way I breathe today if it weren't for Relive. I also have an old soccer injury, got kicked to the back of the knee, did some damage there, had a bunch of physical therapy and the promise of surgery someday. And everybody I know that had knee surgery, it seemed to get worse. And so I just always lived with the pain. And if it was a rainy day, actually a day like this probably wouldn't have been so comfortable either. But rainy, cool, air conditioning, things like that would hurt. And it was just kind of like, okay, that hurts. And I'll never forget that day running up and down some stairs on a very rainy, cold day at the Crystal Cathedral and realizing my knee didn't hurt anymore. And so we are now in our 30s. We started in our 20s. We're healthier. We are more energetic than just about anybody I know. And we absolutely love what Relive has done for us. And we love what it's going to do for us as well. And I am going to pay attention to the comments today. So next week, Christina says we should play a new game where everybody shares their ornaments on the trees. We're waiting to get started. So keep that in mind.
Oh, I like that.
And Christina says that Lauren and her have fun with the working out together, health and safety, and all of that fun stuff. So let's get right into training for today. How do you succeed with Relive? We have a circle of success in a system that really sets everybody up to be the best Relive distributor they could be. And it really is about fueling your business with new people. Before we get into all of that, though, it is the end of the year. We've got what, 2 more weeks until 3 weeks? 3 weeks until New Year's. I shouldn't get it here too quickly, but 2021 is coming around. And a lot of people I've been talking with are gearing up for what is coming next year. What do they want to accomplish next year? And what their goals are next year. And I think this is the time of year, I'm probably a little bit ahead of the game here, but I like to be proactive, is we start thinking about New Year's resolutions. And we start thinking like, oh, this is what I'm going to accomplish next year, and things like that. And I would like to encourage everybody to be thinking of the way to do this smarter and not harder. And this was a life lesson that I learned when I was probably 6 years old, and DuckTales was on the Disney afternoon, and Scrooge McDuck spent one entire episode talking about smarter, not harder. If he was going to start a shoe shine business, he wasn't going to just do it by shining shoes by hand. He was going to create a gadget that he would ride a bicycle so he could shine 4 people's shoes with this thing that was spinning, and it really leveraged his work with his efforts, and so that he was getting more efforts out of his work. And that episode had a profound impact on little Robert Laird when he was 6 years old. And at the time, I remember we lived in Iowa, and we had this huge field behind our house. We lived in town, but for whatever reason, there was this weird actually it was a soybean field. And our half of the neighborhood had first and second graders on it, and the other half of the field in that neighborhood had fifth and sixth graders on it. And they always kind of beat us around a little bit. And I watched this episode, and I had this realization that if we were to be smarter about what we were doing, instead of just getting creamed, life could be a little bit better. And it turned out it worked. And we just learned that you couldn't face these kids heads on, and you had to come around and be smart about it. And the premise that Scrooge McDuck taught became a reality in my life. And so that's something I've carried through the years. It was something that when I saw Relive in the comp plan, I was like, well, that's definitely smarter, not harder. And that's one of the main reasons I became a master affiliate right when we got started with Relive. But as we apply this time of year, this is where I'm going to pivot to SMART goals. See what I did there? SMART goals are a way to set up your next year smarter, not harder. I have a staff of about 14 people in my other professional life, and we've been going through SMART goals, and I've been going through that with some people that I mentor just in life. And it's amazing how many people know what SMART goals are, but don't actually do them. And it's also amazing that how simple they are. You really have to put some thought into them. But the trouble with not having a goal is that you can spend your whole life running up and down the field and never score, says Bill Copeland. And I think that's really what Smarter, Not Harder is all about, is let's score some points. And in this case, it's let's get some people on product. Let's make a difference for the Clover's Foundation. Let's get some businesses built that really are going to change the world, because when you have all three of those things working together, that's a world changer. And that's something that I like to be thinking about as we go into 2020. And that's just a super exciting thing. Where's my mouse?
2021.
2021. Yeah, that's right.
Still focused.
So what are SMART goals? They are goals that are specific, they're measurable, they're achievable, they're relevant, and they're time bound. And I'll go into each of those. But if you have a goal that you can answer or that fits each one of these checkboxes, it's setting you up for success. And it's also going to help you get somewhere you haven't been before. I like to always encourage, as I'm making my own SMART goals and helping other people make SMART goals, make something that puts you at the end of next year in a better place than where you're standing this year, and not just running up and down the field. So specific. When you're looking at a specific goal, the questions you want to ask yourself is, what is it that I want to accomplish? Why is it even important? Who is involved? Where is it located? Is it something that I can do from my house? What resources or limits are involved? These are all the things. Part of this is a why, like why does it matter to me? Like, is it something that you can't be too nebulous or ambiguous with it. Like you can't, a specific goal would not be, I'm going to have a bigger business next year. A more specific goal would be, I'm going to sponsor 20 people next year. I'm going to have, I'm going to make this specific check by this specific date. And then it becomes down to reaching those benchmarks or those goals as you're going through that. But make it very specific. You want it to be, numeric is almost a good way to make it specific. The little puppy just got mad that she couldn't jump in my lap. But really, it's something that is quantifiable when you're thinking of what is specific. You want it to be measurable, which goes right in with specific because they go hand in hand. Can I document my progress? Can I say, hey, I got 5 points? Hey, can I say I've got 10 points? You want to know, is it quantifiable? How much? How many? And what is that endpoint where I know that I've accomplished my goal and I can go, yay, and I can make a fancy Christmas shake next year with peppermint. Christina made it last year, right? That was good. But have something that there is my end goal. This is what I've accomplished, and that's not only going to be something that helps you. It's going to feel really good as you reach it too. Is it achievable? You want to make sure your goals are realistic and attainable. Yes, we want them to always stretch us and be a little bit out of our comfort zone, but you want to know that this is something I can do by the end of the year. If somebody were to come to me and say, hey, I want my SMART goal to be, I'm going to make $2 million before January 15th. Okay, maybe. Like that to me would probably be a breaking stretch. Like that's probably not going to happen. But you want to pick something that's, hey, I can do this. It's going to stretch me, but it's an attainable thing. How you want to also be able to answer these questions. How can I accomplish this goal? Is there a path basically to accomplish it? Is it realistic or is it blocked by variables outside of your control? Like you want to know that your goal is something that you can do. That, hey, this person may say no, but I can just work the numbers until I get enough people that say yes, that I get my 5 customers this month or my 1, 2, 3. I'm going to get all 3 of them each month. And you want to make sure that what your SMART goals are things that you have control over and not something that's way out there that requires somebody else to do something for you to be able to succeed, because then you don't have control of your own success and your SMART goal. Relevant. Does this goal help you get where you want to go? In the big picture of where your life is and where you want your life to go, does that move you down that path? Does it fit with the direction that you're going in your path? Does it also fit with your values? You want to make sure that whatever SMART goals that you do should really fit with who you are at your core of a person. What excites you? Wendy Stokes used to say, does it light up your Christmas tree? And I've always loved that as we have our Christmas tree behind us. But even the rest of the year, is it something that's going to excite you and connect with your heart? And then time bound. What is that target date for completion? Have that end date, because an end date means you've got that finish line. It not only gives you it gives you something that you can continue to strive for and know that an ending, but when there's no ending, it gets tiring. If you're just running up and down the field, to use that other analogy again, and you don't know when the end of a game is, you're going to get more tired and you're not going to be able to push as hard or be as excited or be as happy about it as if you know, oh, this is a 45-minute half, I'm almost done. Have some markers for success along the way. What is my 6-month marker to get me to that full year? What is that quarter marker that's going to help me know that I'm reaching those benchmarks to get whatever my SMART goals are for the whole year? And then even smaller, what are my daily activities to help me reach my success by that target date? When you do all of those things, and it seems very simple, but you really have to throw some heart into it. And I would actually talk to a mentor or someone as you're building these SMART goals to really kind of analyze them and go through these questions and go through these different pieces of the SMART goals to make sure they really are SMART goals and not just big things that you wish you could have happen. One example is someone that I work with was like, one of their SMART goals is, I want to do 3 concerts next year. And I was like, that's great, but that's completely out of your control. Each concert for a full orchestra, and if you add television and all of that stuff in, you're starting at a budget of probably $60,000. And then there's the marketing, and then there's all this other stuff, and there's this little thing called COVID, which currently you can't even have concerts. And so there was lots of variables out of this person's control, money being one of them, health being another thing, marketing being another thing, and a will to do it by leadership to be a fourth thing. And so that's not really a SMART goal. But if it's something that builds you up personally, that you're like, hey, you know what? I'm going to read a new book on leadership every month this next year. And I'm going to talk with a leader about each book each month this next year. And at the end of the year, I'm hoping that I will have finished all 12 books, talked to 12 leaders, and I will be a stronger leader by December 2021. That's a SMART goal. That's building yourself up, that's moving forward. Or, I think Tom Pinnock had very SMART goals when he's like, I'm going to talk to 5 people every day. I'm going to put those pennies in my pocket. There was a very definitive goal for each day that was going to get him going the direction he wanted. And so the big picture goal was with whatever 365 times 5 would be. I'm not that good at math, but it was like, that would be the big goal, is I'm going to talk to this many people in a year, and I'm going to divide it up by a half a year, a quarter, and it ends up being 5 people a day. But when you define them that way, it really does set you up for success, and it makes it easier. It helps you motivate yourself more because you know there's an end in sight, and it just makes it a lot more fun. It makes it kind of a game. So a goal properly set is halfway reached, said Zig Ziglar. So think of how good SMART goals can provide clarity, focus, and motivation as you're going into 2021. And if you've ever read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, you know that one of the really important parts of being effective is being proactive. And so I would encourage everyone to be proactive as they're thinking about their SMART goals. Where do you want your Relive business to be 1 year ago, 1 year ahead from today? When you look back from 1 year ago, will you be looking at, hey, you know what? I set these goals and I am now this level higher. Maybe I'm at senior director now from key director, maybe master director, whatever that goal is. Come up with a very quantifiable, smart approach for it. And 2021 is going to be a heck of a year, because 2020 actually, for all that's been bad, has been a lot of good as well. And so with that, keeping that in mind, let's look at how do you succeed with Relive using the circle of success, the Relive system, and also fueling your business with new people.
Well, the key action is taking action now. Following the circle, it's really these daily activities that simple things doing over and over and over and over again until you reach the goal that you are trying to attain. And these are the daily fundamentals: identify, connect, share the story, ask for a decision, register, and go. So first is identify. You honestly, you do not have a business if you don't have a list. Like, you need to know who it is. I mean, you can kind of go throughout your daily life and, talk to people here and there. And, but there's just something about having a list, looking at you and at it in front of you, and knowing who it is that you want to share Relive with. So 10 product products.
10 product patents.
We do have, yeah, maybe that's where my brain was going. 10 business prospects, and write down why you thought of each person. It really puts your heart in a place to help them, or at least it does me. It provides purpose for each person, and helps with the follow-up as well. So who are the first 5 people you're going to contact? And if that's too overwhelming, think the first 2 or 3. I mean, whatever it is that you can do today. Don't let 5 overwhelm you. If start by 1 and then maybe next week have 2. Whatever it is that you can do, whatever makes sense to you. Like Robert was saying, push yourself a little bit, because that always helps, because being comfortable is not a good place to be, because you always want to be pushed just a little bit forward. But yeah, keep that list going. Family, friends, work, church, social media. I mean, this time of year with COVID and all and being homebound, it makes it a little bit more difficult. But social media has been such a gift. And actually, I've been just going through literally my phone book and calling a random person here or there, just whoever sparks joy in my heart as I see their name in my phone. And I just give them a call and just say, hey, I was thinking about you. And, inevitably they say, what's going on? How are you? How are you holding up? And I'm able to say, hey, I'm able to focus on Relive. Obviously, Disneyland's closed, but what a blessing this has been in my life right now. Robert was talking about the blessings that have come from COVID amidst all the destruction and awful things, of course. But being able to invest in these people and the amount of people and good feedback that I've gotten from people just appreciating the fact that I thought of them, and it has grown our business forward. It's grown our little workout group that we have. We work out Monday through Friday, and it's added people to that group, people that want to be healthier, people that want to move more. So consider that be a way to add to your list. And also I would say, talk to people that you haven't talked to in 6 months or a year, because life has changed. And so people are open now. People are looking, people see the value in good nutrition, and building a business from home where they can be safe. So looks like Robert has something to say.
Yeah, I would just add to what you're saying is a kind comment on social media goes miles.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And there's two things people are looking for in this day and age. One is kindness, and the other thing is community. And I think that is why Lauren's Fit 3 group has just been so stellarly awesome. Is that is a kind group that's a community. That's all.
Well, thanks for affirming that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's really awesome, the accountability in that group, and we're doing life together. I mean, it's not all fitness and workout and health stuff that we're talking about, but some people are mentioning struggles or whatever. And it really is, thank you, Robert, that it is a community of people just looking out for each other and supporting each other. And that's, yes, what we need right now. So next, we want to connect these people, review the people. What do I say? I'm so nervous. Just share your heart using their why. And of course, you can't always assume what their why is. You can assume, hey, they've got problem A, B, or C. That's probably why they would want Relive. And you have absolutely no idea that their mom has dementia and that's where their heart is focused, or they can't pay rent next month and they're worried about, where the next paycheck is going to come from. And so really it's about listening, and yeah, active listening. Oh, really? Tell me about that. Wow. Oh, I'm so sorry. And really just coming at a place and just saying, if I had something that could help you, would you be open to learning about it? And typically with these sorts of phone calls that I make or connections that I have somebody in the on holds. Usually, thank you, Roger Broberg, or Luann Pecorelli. You are two of my go-tos for, hey, I'm calling somebody, I'm not quite sure, I'd love to bring up Relive. We'll see how it goes, but might you be available from, this time to this time? And they've been such a blessing. So I'm super, super thankful for them. But it's worked really well for me. And people really, for the most part, are open and appreciative that I thought about them. So, and then, yeah, using company tools to validate. There's so many videos and Facebook groups, and it can almost be a little bit overwhelming, but stick to something simple. Send a screenshot from these products work, or use the app to send a text message, a video, and then you're able to track if they've watched it or not, or set them up for success for getting on a webinar either Tuesday or Wednesday. So many options for that. Although I think I'm getting into opening sentences. I always forget about this slide, but it really is just about sharing your heart. I think most often when we do training, we focus on how are you, and then just ask and listen. And really, people will share their hearts, build that trust, build that rapport, and people will know that your heart is sincere, and be open to learning. So yeah, share the Relive story. I kind of already started to get into that. Using those tools the opportunity book if you're, I was going to say old school, but I don't want to offend anybody. But that's, I mean, face to face is so important. I mean, obviously this time of year, a little bit hard for that. But I mean, you can do it online. You can send them the virtual version and go through it over the phone. There's slides, there's the webinars, relive.com/get started. Just introducing your upline to other Relive stories. I've had a blast this last week. I've 2 new people that I've shared with, and just they've both been soaking up stories like a sponge, and it's just brought me so much joy sharing hope with them. So that's really what sharing the story is all about, is just sharing that hope and the ability to get help. Help people engage too. It's not about just I don't know what I was going with that sentence, but yeah, just get people into the system. Love them into Relive. That's what we say. In-home parties can't really do right now. Webinars, conference calls, your upline. There's so many ways to love them into Relive, and you don't have to know it all. That really is the best part. Is if you're brand new and you're nervous. Actually, I used somebody. Alabama is exploding right now with a couple of really great new distributors, and one of them was sharing with me, I'm still really, she's like, her business is exploding. I mean, from the outside looking in, you're like, she's got it together. She knows what she's doing. And talking to her, she's like, I am nervous. I almost did the little accent. I'm really nervous. Every phone call that she makes, she prays with her upline before making calls. And I just love that, you use the support from your upline. If you're nervous, that's okay. You'll build your confidence. Every call, every step of the way gets you a little bit more confident in what you're doing and in sharing Relive. And then most importantly, ask for a decision. Once you go through the whole Relive story and people are faced with the end of that, don't just go, okay, bye. Like, think about it, get back to me, ka-chow, ka-chow. I'm doing the little gun fingers you can't see because the video's off. But make sure you're asking them, hey, what do you think? How interested are you in getting on product? How interested are you in the business? 1 to 10, let me know. And then you're able to really gauge where to go next. Have products and tools with you at all times. Have a little system in place for, where you're going to go next, whether it's, more stories, more 3-way calls, more videos, getting them connected to the Facebook groups. Have your recommendation orders for each options, customer, distributor, master affiliate. I like the quick start, showing them how they can get a few months supply and get 25% off. But yeah, helping them get registered. One of the 2 people that I mentioned that I was excited that's soaking up all these stories like a sponge. It was a cold call that I met her online and got her connected to a story, and it sounded like she needed to go. She goes, wait, hold on. Let's call, like, I want to get ordered. How do I do this? And so we literally called Relive up and got her ordered right then and there. And it was fantastic. And so really allow people to, share what they want to do and set them up for success. So with the products, gosh darn it, these next slides, I always get so excited and I share everything in the first slide. But yeah, ask questions, listen, have those recommendations, the super pack, adding the hemp products, make sure that they know about those because those are absolutely phenomenal. But keep it simple. It's so easy when somebody's dealing with so many health issues to say, well, you got to try this and this and this and this, and Arth effect for this and Gluc effect for that, and lunar effects, helps with inflammation. Keep it simple, maybe start with core product and one more, the mighty 3, but really don't overwhelm them with too much. I've just found that just can be too much. And sometimes they don't need that much. It depends on, how much, how fast they want to get results, but just have them into consideration, but have those, several different options in place and set them up for success. And then with the business, get them started right away. Online, the application, don't really do the paper very much anymore, but online is so easy. Just send them a link, let them go, revisit the comp plan. Mindy Jones, mornings for us, I think it's early afternoon for them, doesn't matter. She goes over the comp plan, and I love that. So it's really easy to say, hey, this time, this place, come on and learn about that. Ask questions and listen. Let them know, or let them tell you kind of what their fears are, or, just get them going and encourage them and set them up. Getting started on the products, obviously very important. Let them have a story of their own. But really, I'm thinking about pre-COVID. We used to just sit in Starbucks with a new distributor and just say, who can you get on the phone, and just let them call people and encourage them to kind of guide the conversation into Relive, or how to just say, hey, I was thinking about you, how are you, and make sure that they know that you were calling for a purpose. But just boom, 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 just call after call after call. And that's where we found the most success with new distributors, is just.
And now with COVID, there's so much happening literally every day, either
True.
online or through a call, that it makes it, I think it's easier to start a new distributor now than it's ever been before, because there's always something new to get plugged into. And that's just exciting to hear all of these different people from around the country and around the world sharing exactly what you're like. They're sharing their part of the journey that you're just starting. And so it gives you hope, and it gives you vision, and it gives you excitement as you're looking at like, oh, I feel like I could be that person. And so I think it's similar. It's harder because we don't get to do the Starbucks thing, which we absolutely love. But we do get to do calls like this, calls like Wednesday, the Monday night call, Thursday night call, Tuesday. Like there's stuff literally every day that you can build to on a daily basis, which I think is exciting too as you're going through all this.
And Brenda, I see your question. What do you consider the mighty three? I would say core product now, or classic, Energize, and Fiberstore is what I feel like people deem to be the mighty three.
The new mighty three, huh?
The new mighty three?
Well, when I started, it was Fiberstore, Energize, and Classic.
Well, I said now or classic.
Yeah, I know, but Energize also.
I said Energize.
Oh, I was thinking Winter Checks when you said that.
I think I said that.
Lunar Checks, go ahead.
There we go. 5, register and go. Following up with those new customers. Holy cow. I realized, as I said, that, asking for a decision was probably most important, but I think that this is really, truly the most important, because it solidifies these loyal customers, these loyal people on the product. Continue to educate them with stories, and look at them to move up. Once they start to get results, it's so amazing how people just start to think of people. Oh, wow, well, I'm getting a result with this, and I know my Aunt Kathy is dealing with that too. But really just keeping the conversation going. Did you shake today? Are you consistent? What results are you seeing so far? But just staying connected, being a friend, not being a nag, but just showing that you care. And really, truly just seeing going back to Wendy Stokes, what lights up their Christmas tree? What are they excited about? And help answer any questions that they might have. And know that that's the day 1, day 3, day 10. It's only a guideline. Use common sense, but really it is just about being a friend, and letting them know that you are there for them. And Robert's giggling.
I just think the slide should say follow up is friendship. Like that's the whole slide. What you just said is follow up is friendship.
Oh,
that's okay.
Follow up is friendship. All right. Scratch, register.
I have these random thoughts as people are talking. I'm like, oh, follow up is friendship.
Follow up is friendship, friends. So yeah, I think Robert's in charge of next slide.
When it works.
When it works. And then with the distributors, set them up for success as well, obviously. I've one of the other guy that I mentioned, 2 people that I'm excited about right now, but I just assumed that he'd be a customer, but he was out taking care of something, and he was talking to somebody, asking a question about the situation. And he texts me later. He goes, Lauren, call, let me know when you have a couple minutes. I need to talk to you. I was like, okay, call him. He goes, so we were talking about this. And then he starts talking about his back surgery and his back pain and this and that. And he has back pain as well. So they're talking. He goes, and I told him about Relive. So it's like, oh my gosh, so exciting. But his heart is just for helping other people. And I'm really excited to help him. But I told him, just let's do it within 48 hours. You got his phone number. He's excited. You're excited. Let's make sure that we stay on top of that. So building a list, identifying those people. But once you do, really making sure that you follow up with them and stay connected as they show interest in Relive as well. And setting up those appointments, like Robert said, getting them into this success system that has come from COVID, all of these opportunities throughout the week to get Relive in front of people. But yeah, showing them the website, how to order, how to register people, navigating relive.com. It's so much more simple now, but still, takes a little bit of, going through and looking and seeing what it all entails. Seeing the distributor kit. I really love relive.com/get started. There's so much great information there. But yeah, introducing to Upline, Sideline, Good Friends, just that Relive community. Love them into Relive. And the Relive tools, which we've kind of been talking about throughout the morning. The website, the app, Lifestyle Magazine. Goodness, I don't think we've gotten those in a while. Am I wrong? I don't know. Anyway, those are great. I mean, even there's old ones that show great information as well. Whatever speaks to you, whatever works for you, just do it simply. Simple is hard. We've been had that drilled into our heads for the last however long, but simple is hard. But having that same system that works for you, and just like I said at the beginning of this, doing it over and over and over again, just because whatever works, keep doing it. So that business success cycle, really, I mean, right now, the most that we can do is, just like we were saying, plug people into this support system online, the Facebook groups. It's just new people, love them into Relive. Don't overcomplicate it. I think for the most part, people know about all these things and all of the options. I don't know. Do you have anything brilliant to add?
Well, they're going to have more virtual events coming up, Tom said the other day. So I would be thinking of who can I connect in the virtual events locally, quote unquote, that aren't so local, but these daily events, with the thought being that sometime probably next spring, if I were to go by their regular schedule, early spring, there's probably going to be another virtual conference. And I would be thinking, how many people can I be connecting to these webinars and calls now, with the thought being that they're going to now have the opportunity to connect people to these big virtual events that really are fun. And you look at, I think the Philippines one, Asia Pacific. Thank you. When you look at 4,500 new people on products after something like that, that's something to be excited about, and that's something to be thinking about for the next virtual conference over here in the United States. Is like, how many of those, let's say it's 5,000, aim for the next time, but how many of those are going to be because of me? And what is it? If it's going to be, it's up to me. And really have that approach of, it's up to me. And think of the change you could make in the world, in a world that really needs hope, of what you can offer because of what we have. I just look at all of the health results just around our circle of influence, like that's really, I always go down the chain of stories. Remember how Gail and Greg and Dana and Matt, and you go to my parents, and then us, and then all of these people that have impacted by both business and health because of what Relive is. Then you get to pay it forward. And that's where Relive, I think, gets really exciting. And that's where you look at these daily activities and you go, I need to pay this forward to as many people as I can. whether it's somebody that I'm sitting socially distanced with at lunch, or if I'm at a Facebook group, on a Facebook group, I guess. There's lots of opportunity right now because people are looking for hope and they're looking to connect more than ever.
Absolutely. And engage your team. Develop a library of stories, just your community in Relive. Those go-to stories, upline, downline, other distributors, tools, the Relive system, just that system, that success system, that simple actions, that smart goals, smart steps, smart actions. I don't know where I'm going, but we've said all the things.
So we'll put together some SMART goals.
Yeah, full circle. But yeah, build ambassadors, build relationships, friendship. Follow up is friendship. What did you say? Is that what? Build those relationships, build the trust, stay engaged with what's going on in Relive. That's so important. Is if you're here and there and all over the place, you're not going to know how to encourage your group. You're not going to know what to share. Share your excitement. Whether it's in an email with your group once a week or once a month, or but just keep up with the excitement. But when you are plugged in, it's like plugging in an outlet to a wall. The electricity. It's when religious, like staying into the word, like being really committed and staying connected. And that's what happens with the Relive system, is when you're engaged and staying up to date with all the things that are going on. It just, goodness gracious, like the Lunarich or Lunison and CBD coming out in February. Like, I just am so excited.
That's going to be epic.
That's going to be epic.
Another thing to be thinking of this time of year is this is a great time of year for Christmas cards and Christmas letters, and that's a great way to show you care and also show what's going on in your life and in Relive life, Relive world too. And people love to get those kinds of things. I don't read every one that we get in entirety, but I usually look for the highlights and I look for the pictures. So, if you have a picture in there and you have a good story about your year, people are looking for hope now more than ever. As I've said a few times, this is a great chance to throw a really positive, bright light in their mailbox at the end of the year that I think people really appreciate all the time. Roger says, I've always wondered why simple is hard. It just came to me. That means we always try to give too much info, too many products or more, whatever that we all do. The way it's hard is to hold back and just keep it simple. It really is. Like, we don't need 30 slides to learn how to do Relive. We just need to know how to be a friend and to share a movie, basically, because that's exactly what it is. Disney had its big investor day on, was it Thursday? Thursday.
Yeah.
And it was amazing to me watching the internet explode with, oh, this movie's coming out. Oh, this Star Wars. Oh, this Marvel. And really, Disney got so much free publicity out of this thing. I'm sure they spent a bunch of money on the presentation, but all of these fans were just geeking out about all of this stuff coming out. And I'm like, well, that's really all we have to do. And really, the Lunarich or the Lunison CBD thing is going to be huge for that regard. Another thing to be keeping on your horizon too is there's an article going around about melatonin and COVID. And there's not any. It doesn't look like anything is like complete fact on this, but it's just looking promising, to quote their words. But we've got lots of exciting things that we're connected with that we can be excited about, and we just got to be careful not to make any claims of cures or anything like that. But we can be like, hey, there's exciting stuff going on, and we get to be a part of this industry.
I was going to add that I'm assuming people are going to want to see that article. I can share it on my Facebook.
Yep.
So you guys can see that. I actually haven't read it myself, but I'm one of those guilty of charge. I'm like, ooh, I read the title. I'm like, ooh, that's so exciting. But I really would actually like to read this article.
And it's good to read those things and be excited about it, because you just realize we're part of an industry and science that's really on the cutting edge and really is exciting. And, even if nothing comes of this, it's fun to be on this team.
Absolutely. And I was going to go back to the Christmas card thing. It made me think of something that you said earlier about being kind on Facebook, just a simple comment, that really kind of goes with the Christmas cards too. I mean, I know that I'm honestly not very good about sending out Christmas cards, and every year I want to be. So maybe now with a little bit more free time on my hands, that's something that I could really do. But it really, Christmas cards just make such a difference and add a smile. And you know what? I can lift up Christina right now, because I know that that is something that is totally a gift of hers, and she just always writes these personal notes, and oh my gosh, she's so good at that. So way to go, Christina. But what a way to stay connected and show the people in your life that you care.
Christina's just good at being kind in general.
Yes, ball of energy.
So we got a lot of important calls that are coming up this week, and I apologize because I had to get rid of the short and sweet call number because the formatting wasn't working when I carried it over, and I tried like 4 times and it just wasn't happening. So if you don't have that number, ask anybody on this call and they will give it to you. And maybe somebody's even putting it in the chat for me. That would be even more awesome. You're welcome, Christina. But plug into these things, and more importantly, plug into these things with other people that are new. So there's a Commit to Success training call. It's about a half an hour Monday night. Amazing. Wednesday night. See, I even cut off the time there too. It was weird how the formatting changed from PowerPoint to PowerPoint. I don't get it. So then you get the opportunity presentation Wednesday, 7:30 Central Time. If you're on the West Coast like us, it's at 5:30. This is a fantastic way to introduce new people to Relive. It's giving them that overview of this is what happens in Relive. This is why we exist. This is what we do. And a little bit about the Clogers Foundation as well. The short and sweet call is one of the best calls I think ever. You get those amazing quick calls. And the number is 205-825-9451. And you don't need a pin for that one. But that one, I just love the energy for that one. Thank you, Christina. And to me, that's one of my favorite calls of the week because there's just always so much energy and excitement and exuberance going on with that.
Exuberance.
And then come back next Saturday for Kari Montgomery at 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, right here. You won't want to miss it. I think it will be an absolutely fantastic training. And she's, I think I can say where she is, right? She's spending time with leaders right now. And so she's going to come back and have a lot of fun things to share about what people are doing around the thing. And don't miss Sean Bergeron's call this Monday too, which is going to be awesome. So yeah, there's so many really great things happening in Relive, and the more you plug in, the more power you're going to get. If to use a Christmas light analogy.
I said it earlier in the wall.
Yeah. And oops, it went backwards. But then it really comes about connecting, duplicating. And this is, I think, the best time to be in Relive and to be getting new people started in Relive. Like, we have what the world is looking for. And that's just super, it's really cool to be in a position where you have the answer for what people need. And you get to feel good about yourself at the end of the day, and you get to make a difference. And that's a really great place to be. And so as we're wrapping this up, be thinking about, I'm sitting right here today. This is where I look at, this is my lay of the land. What do I want my life and my business to look like a year from today? And then start thinking about, what are those SMART goals that I can put in place in the next 3 weeks to really push myself to the next level and push Relive to the next level? And really, when we do that, everybody wins. People are healthier. More people are financially secure. There's 12.7 million people, I believe it is, that are unemployed as of Tuesday. That's a lot of people. And I don't know about the rest of the country, but in Southern California, things are only getting worse. And so there's going to be a dark point before the lights come back on. And so we've got that opportunity to be one of those shining lights. And so be thinking about, here's where I am, here's where I want to go. These are the ways I can get there. I'm going to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time sensitive as I go into my next year. And I'm going to make a difference, because I think we've got a really good difference to make. What do you think?
I think there is a grand difference that we can make in the lives of a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to bless the world.
Exactly. So with that, have a fantastic week, everybody. We thank you for joining us, and let's get out there and share it with the world, huh?
Yeah.